from Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Today I'm going to talk about basic concept of incident handling and incident process. In this talk, I will cover about what is the cyber incidents. I will take two examples of cyber incident and will explain how we can solve these incidents. I will also talk about why there is a necessity of incident handling and incident response process and how CSIR team can be established. In the last, I will provide a brief overview about what are the different kind of tools that are required while incident handling. So let us start from the definition itself. As per the definition of NCSC, any cyber incident is defined as a breach of a system's security policy in order to affect its integrity or availability and or the unauthorized access or attempt to access to a system or systems. In a very layman term, we can define cyber incident as any bad impact, any adverse impact from the perspective of cyber security within your infrastructure that can be considered as a cyber incident. For example, like a DOS attack or DDoS attack is happening. DOS attack is basically denial of services or distributed denial of services, which prevent you from smooth running of the processes, or your organization is suffering with any unauthorized access, which may lead to website compromise, database compromise, or Active Directory server compromise. Or we can also take the example of defacement of your website. An attacker has taken control upon the website and has defaced its home page, or your workstation has been infected over the network. Anyone is doing network probing, scanning, or you are suffering from malware attacks, ransomware attacks, or one of the most popular attacks which are nowadays going, data breaches. So there are different kind of cyber attacks which are going over the internet and which are affecting your organization. All those can be considered as a cyber incident. Yeah. So first of all, if you are thinking about how to handle or how we can respond against these cyber attacks, then you had to develop an understanding that how these kind of attacks work. Then you can develop a plan that how we can respond against such incident. As we know that even we are following the best security policy within our infrastructure, we cannot guarantee that attack will not happen. Even it is a best security organization, then it is still possible that they might suffer from different kind of attacks. They may got affected with a botnet attack. They might got affected with exploit kit attack, zero-day attacks. So in a real-time attack is always possible within an organization. So what will be your strategy? How you will respond against this incident? Because any cyber attacks, any cyber incident can impact your organization, it can impact your customers, or if you are a critical infrastructure, then in the worst case, it can impact your country. Let me take an example. Like if you think that there is a phishing mail, which has been received to some users. As we know that most of the attacks started from a phishing mail, and you are a cybersecurity expert and you want to understand that if a phishing mail have been received, then how you will respond against it. There should be some strategy, there should be some plan so that you can follow a proper steps in order to mitigate, in order to prevent these attacks. So from the phishing example, we will try to visualize how this incident can be handled. So in this, I have shown the three example. First one is a phishing mail is received to a receiver where there is no content, but a file is attached, and just it is written to download the file. And in the second mail, there is again a file attachment uh, with small descriptions, and the sender is requesting to the receiver to download the file. Similarly, in the third mail, a receiver has received a phishing mail, and after clicking upon that mail, it is taken to a phishing website. And if you see the URL of the website, then you will find out that it is similar to the our government email ID, email.gov.in. Now, if such phishing emails are being received, then how you can think that the response should be? What will be your approach to handle a phishing incident? Let me explain. Like if a user is receiving a phishing email, then first of all, in order to analyze this incident, he should consider every email as a suspicious and can perform further analysis. For example, at a first step, he can analyze its email header, whether this email is genuine or not. If you think that this email is spoof and not originated from a trusted server, then you can start further analysis of this incident. Now, the next question will be, you has to think whether this email is coming from a genuine server or it is coming from a fake server. Now, if it is coming from a genuine server and containing some malicious document or malicious description, then you can think that whether our email server is compromised. Sometimes it has been seen that attacker first compromised the email server, then using that email server, they start sending phishing emails. So you have to identify. The answer can be yes or no, means whether if email server is compromised or not. Now, the next question you have to ask, like whether the mail which you have received is containing any phishing URL or any malicious file. If it is a phishing URL, then what will be your approach? How you can take down this phishing URL? Like you have to think what can be the possible step to block this phishing phase. Like you might have to contact ISP, or you might have to contact the registrar of the website phishing page, or if the phishing page is hosted on a genuine website, then you may also can contact with website owner to disable that phishing page, or you can also contact with Certain in order to take down the phishing page. Now, if you realize that the phishing mail containing any document, then you may think that this can be malicious as well. Then another process start. How you will analyze this malicious file? At a very initial level, you can upload the hash of this file to VirusTotal and can identify whether it is any known malware or it is a targeted attack which have been sent to your organization. Now, if you think that this file is still seems to be malicious, then you can start the process of malware analysis and can find out which kind of malicious behavior this file is containing. You can also extract its IOCs, like what are the IP address using which this malware will communicate, what are the port number that this malware is using, or what are the domain name which is being used with this malware. Now, Upon these analysis, you have realized that this mail is actually phishing and containing a malware. Then your next task can be, within your organization, how many people has downloaded this mail and have clicked upon it. Then you can isolate those systems and can perform further analysis. Further analysis can be like, you can make a forensic image of those systems and can perform artifact analysis. Artifact analysis contains used for like to identify when the first time this incident happened, why this incident happens, and what are the malicious things that has done by the malware. So all of these steps are occurring just from the receiving of a phishing mail. Now, then in the next step, you can identify who are the other systems which have been infected. Then those systems can also be isolated from the network. If like I told earlier, if phishing mail is containing a phishing page where user is submitting their personal information, then you can inform all the persons who has clicked upon the mail and submitted their username and password or other personal information. You can also notify to the relevant users for change of the credentials. Other measures you can follow, like you can generate an alert or warning that such phishing mails is coming over our organization, and also generate any advisory related to that email, like this kind of mail is coming and nobody should click upon that mail, and what are the set of preventive measures they can follow. At a perimeter level, you can block IOCs like IPs, domain, port numbers, other things. You can also ensure best practices over your mail servers, like the received mail should block your suspicious extension like .exe, .bat file, DLL, etc. So this was an example. If any user is receiving a phishing mail, then how and what are the set of things that he can thought upon in order to mitigate a phishing incident. Similarly, I'm taking another example. If your website have been compromised, then what are the set of steps that you can think upon in order to mitigate a website compromise incident. Now, a website compromise may lead to defacement or abused for other kind of attacks. Website defacement can happen either from a targeted attacks, or it can be the part of a mass defacement or a pre-announced attacks. When you notice that your website have been compromised, so first of all, you may think that we should report this incident, this defacement, to website administrator or owner of the website. Now, the responsibility of concerned team will be, he has to identify why this defacement has happened. Many of the times it has been observed that the team just replace those websites from the backup data and they start running the website again. But the primary responsibility of the team should be, they should analyze why the website have been compromised, and they should also take the necessary action so that in the future this attack should not be happen again. In order to do so, they can check different kind of logs like web server access log, firewall logs, event log, database access log. From these analysis, they can identify what was the vulnerabilities, what was the reason due to which this website got compromised. You can also analyze what are the different kind of data that has been exfiltrated from this attack. Following this, you can inform to the relevant users. You can apply appropriate patches and fixes and can share these findings with others team so that these findings can be used by other teams in order to prevent these attacks further. So these were the two examples by which you can get an idea that if attacks are happening within our organization, then there should be some plan, there should be some proper mechanism so that we can respond against those incidents and can prevent or limit the damages. So what is our learning? If attacks are happening, then who will handle this incident? There should be someone who should be responsible to handle this incident. How we will calculate the impact of the incident, and if anyone is noticing this incident, then whom we should contact. How we will prioritize different set of activities during incident handling, how we will respond against incident, and which person will who will handle what. So in order to answer all these questions, we need two things. The first, there should be a proper steps and procedure in order to respond and handle the incident so that we can limit the damage, we can easily perform the recovery, and we can prevent it from further recurrences. The second thing we have to do, there should be someone who is responsible to handle any cyber incident whenever this is occurring in your organization. So the person or the team who is responsible to this to handle this incident is known as a CSERT, Computer Security Emergency Response Team, and the steps and procedure that we need to follow is defined as a incident response plan or incident response steps. So what is the incident response plan? It is a well organized set of steps that organization can use to defend themselves against any cyber security incident. Now, and the CISA team is these are the expert group of the people who will be responsible for handling a cyber incidents. Now, how you can establish a CISA team? First of all, if you are a government department, you are a law enforcement agencies, you are a ministries, then it is a mandatory that there should be a CISA team within your organization. Now, in order to establish a CISA team, you can also obtain suggestions and guidelines from various agencies, like you can contact to CERTIN, you can also contact with CSAT NIC from your ministry's department or any other CISA team in order to establish a incident response team. The next step will be you should have an incident response plan. This plan will work within your organization when incident are happening within your network. You have to define a chief information security officer. This person will work as a dedicated point of contact for the organization. Either communication is happening either between from external agencies or your internal communication. So CISO will work as a dedicated point of contact. While defining incident response plan, there should be a proper guidelines that how compliance will be followed, how reporting will be done, and how cyber security policies will be implemented within your organization. You have to define all of your best security practices that will be used within your organization. These best practices can be like your network level best practices, application level best practices, best security practices for your system configuration, security configuration, and it will also even include what are the best security practices for your individual users working within your organization. Uh, During creation of incident handling team, you also need to define a dedicated point of contact. This point of contact will work as a dedicated point using which anyone within your organization can contact immediately whenever any suspicious cyber attacks has been observed. This point of contact will also work for any external agencies like for certain. If we want to contact with you, then we can immediately contact upon in the case of a cyber incident. You can you also have to share the details of CISO as well as the details of point of contact with certain uh, that can be shared using our email IDs, so that if any times we observe anything related to cyber threats against your organization, then we can contact immediately with the organization. Now, while establishing a CISA team, what are the set of things you need to define? First of all, you has to define your mission statement. Mission statement is basically a high level idea that what are the set of responsibility that a CISA team will have, uh, like whether they are going to manage any incident, whether they are going to monitor your network, or what will be the set of responsibility each individual will have within your team. The next thing you has to define what is the territory, what is the boundary for which you are going to establish this team. This is the area where this incident handling team will be responsible for. Now, the next thing you need to define is how you will collaborate with other organizations. This is very much necessary because in order to get some latest information about cybersecurity trends, sometimes we need to communicate with other cybersecurity organizations as well. So while defining this, you need to understand that which are the trusted organization using which communication can be performed and which are not a trusted organization. And the last thing is you has to define what are the set of services you are going to include. So what are the services can be? Uh, Before that, just I have given there are different kind of CISA team can be established depend upon the territory, like national level CSAT, regional level CSAT, and financial CERT. So different kind of CISA team can be uh, established based upon the need. And the CSAT team is also known as a various names like CSAT, CRT, CIRC, CIRT. All these are the names that is actively used within the cyber community. Now, now, while creating a CISA team, what are the different kind of people you have to include? So number of people or number of team can be depend upon the size and the nature of the organization. If it is a small organization, then multiple role can be assigned to a single people. If it is a large organization, then then the individual responsibility can be defined for a dedicated teams. But still, you have to include a set of people like system administrator people. These are the people who has the knowledge of system resources, your data resources. You can also include network administrator people. These are the people who has the knowledge of your network, and you also has to include information security people. These are the core people who will be used in order to respond against an incident, and you may also include others people based upon their need. Now, as I talked about, you has to define uh, a set of services that CSR team is going to perform, like um, like we can include some reactive services, proactive services, and other services. What are the reactive services? These are the set of activities that will be performed after happening of the incident. What it can be? It can be like the team will perform the incident analysis. The team can go for the incident response for remote locations, or the team can perform a support while incident is happening within your organization. They can also perform coordination with different teams. Also, um, also as a reactive services, you can include vulnerability handling or artifact analysis. So all these can be performed as a reactive services. Similarly, what proactive services can be included? These are the set of activities that you may include uh, to prevent cyber attacks within your organization. It can be like a different kind of cyber security alert or cyber security advisories that you may publish within your organization for different kind of cyber security threats. You can also perform a technology watching. Here you can collect different kind of information regarding cyber threats and can be prepared according to that. As a preactive services, you can also include like security audit, penetration testing, tools development, or you can enable intrusion detection, threat intelligence sharing. All these can be included as a proactive services. In other services, you can include like security quality management, risk analysis of your systems and network. You can also provide security consultations, awareness building program, education and training, and product evaluation and certificates. All these can be included as a CSERT services. Now, as we know that Indian Computer Emergency Response Team is a national level CSERT, which is whose constituency or territory is the Indian cyberspace. We are the responsible um, for to respond against any cybersecurity incident as and whenever they occur within Indian cyberspace. As I told, there are different kind of services that we need to include while defining a CSERT. So as a national level CSERT, CERT provides different kind of services like we publish advisories. We are responsible to handle um, uh, any kind of cyber incident happening within Indian cyberspace. We also publish vulnerability notes, some cyber security advisories and alert. Um, um, we also coordinate empanelment and audit programs. So all these are included in national level CSERT team. Now, as I told, different type of collaboration and information sharing is required while while we are defining a CSERT team. What are the different collaboration that can be like if you want to include some threat intel from regarding latest malwares or latest cyber attacks, then you can collect those data from different teams. Like you can coordinate with national level CSERT, you can coordinate with regional level CSERT. You can also gather information from different sources like shadow servers, from threat intel, Cymru, honeypot projects. So different informations regarding cyber attacks can be collected from different resources. You can also participate in global takedown process. Um, like if any malware is affecting at a large scale, then you can also participate in takedown of those cyber attacks. You can also make awareness to your organization about cyber securities, recent attacks and vulnerabilities, and you can also participate in cyber security exercises. Now, if we look at different type of collaboration that is done by certain or other agencies, then there are different projects which is run by either certain or other agencies in the terms of collaboration. For example, certain has a threat intel sharing team using which we share about the latest IOCs regarding cyber attacks. There is a cyber security operations center at certain, honeypot project run by CDEC, or cyber swachhata kendra run by certain, which alert about latest trend of botnet and malware. Cyber drill exercise conducted by certain, or responsible vulnerability disclosure program run by NCIPC, or even to report cyber crime incidents. There is a dedicated cybercrime.gov.in portal where any individual can report any cybercrime related incident, unlawful content, or incident related to women or child related crime. So there are different collaborative approach that is run by different agencies in order to coordinate and mitigate cyber attacks. Now, in the last, while we defining an incident handling process, there is a set of steps that we has to follow as a plan, like I have showing the example of a set of 5 stages that an organization can follow while incident handling. This step contains preparation step, detection and analysis step, containment, eradication and recovery, and the lesson learned. Preparation step is the set of activities that you have to follow for preventing a cyber attacks within your organization. In the detection step, the goal will be to detect or to notice the incident within organization. For detection, you can either follow the manual approach or you can follow the automatic approach in order to detect the event. Now, after the detection, you have to perform the analysis of the incident, as I have taken the example. So there are different kind of analysis approach you can follow in order to analyze the incident. In the containment phase, you have to think that the cyber incident should not expand or grow further. In eradication phase, the purpose is actual removal of the infection and restoration of the affected system. In recovery phase, the goal is we can start normal smooth running of the process. Now, in the post incident activities, we identify what are the lessons that we have learned from the incident and evaluate what are the improvement that can be done so that further we can prevent occurrences of the event in the future. Now, in order to perform incident handling and incident response, sometimes we require different set of tools at various stages. For example, if you notice that you has obtained a phishing mail, then you has to check somewhere using some tools to analyze a phishing incident. If you observe that the received incident is a malware, then you might have to perform the malware analysis. You might have to perform artifact analysis, or you might have to perform memory analysis. So for all these activities, time to time, different set of tools will be required while incident handling. I have given some examples like what are the different set of tools that can be used while incident handling. There are a lot of set of tools and each are defined for different set of activities. One may go through all these tools and can learn for which activities, which tools will be suitable, and they can use it for incident handlings. You can also find a detailed list of tools in the URL I have provided in the last, and one can go through it. Okay, this was from my side. Okay, if anybody has a query, then they can write regarding incident handling. Then they can write to incident at the right certain.org.in. This was a very short talk, so I have covered only the in a very abstract way about the incident handling. Yeah, if anybody has a query, then I can answer.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I see there is no queries.
Okay, then I can end this talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Atul.
There is a 5-minute break. Our next session will resume from 11:35. Thank you.